up, Miss Migus? You're so stupid, Rachel, and we're back for another episode of Major Minor Mobile Edition. Where we last left off, we saw the tragic ending of Clace, the pop idol. And then we were sentenced to a other world by means of which we don't understand, probably a ritual. And now we're going to face the leader of this new world because he needs us, because apparently we're a savior. Let's see how it goes. Answer the questionnaire honestly. It'll change the way some of the dialogue is displayed, as well as influence your eternal thoughts. Okay.
Well, this first one is self-explanatory. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Please just humor me and play along for now.
Are you assuming my gender? Dare you? But I believe I am male. I mean, I sound like one. I look like one. I'm hairy like one. I got a penis. I think. I'm pretty sure I'm a male. I mean, if I'm wrong, just let me know. And a good-looking one at that. Thank you, Conrad. It's nice to take compliments. Thank you. Starting with the obvious, I guess.
A large corporation wants to hire you. Do you prefer a leading role or not?
An Indy or a Conrad, you would say. You see, I'm not really more of a leader that tells people what to do and gives rules. That just causes me too much stress. It just really does. I feel like what I am, I'm more of a follower than a leader, because I just like to. I'm more of a listener than a talker, and it's easy for me to do that. So I would say I'm a follower. That's more like it. You have so much freedom that way. You get held back the higher up you are. Red tape, restrictions, police. See, he gets it.
A savior would rather be a follower? I can't say I would have expected that. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. Do you consider yourself skeptical, or are you an easily trusting person?
I think I know the answer to that one. Yeah, I'm definitely a skeptic. I don't trust too easily. Considering how this world is, yeah, you gotta be a skeptic. Wait, I was wrong?
It wouldn't be the first time, Conrad.
Hey, that's not nice. I thought I got a pretty good read on him.
Right. You're about to go to war. Would you prefer to attack or defend?
Oh, now we're digging a little deeper.
Remember, there are no wrong answers.
But it does change the story quite a bit. That's what it said. And it changes our influences in our dialect. I'm pretty sure that's the word for it.
We're simply defining you on paper. To that end, what position do you prefer?
That's a tricky one. I'm not really the all muscular brave type. And I think I'd be okay at defending. So I guess a defensive role? Well, you know what they say. Something about a good defense. Not what I would have picked though. Well, look what I do for a living.
Conrad, don't judge people's outlooks. That's only a recipe for disaster. Now, allowing us to move on. Would you take one life to save many?
That's kind of what we do every day. You think you'd be able to do it? Take a life for the greater good? It depends. But if it is for the greater good, then who's to say you shouldn't? That's what I thought. Can't be as the savior without getting dirty. Maybe we need a third assassin, Indy.
I won't even humor the thought. They're destined for much greater things.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Alright. We're almost done, I promise. You're running late to your destination. The path before you follow. There's a short but dangerous route, and a long but much safer route. If you take the long route, you may be late, but the short route may lead to your death. What route do you take?
I'm pretty sure where I'm headed is not that important. I'll be safe. You mean kind of like we're doing now? This is incredibly boring, though. I'd love for something eventful to happen.
And put the savior at risk? Why would that be a good decision to make?
I didn't say it would be a good decision. I'm saying it would be a fun one. Conrad winks at me. I shrug it off.
Just one more question, I promise. Besides, we're almost to town.
About time.
Do you prefer the company of others, or do you prefer to be alone?
Considering I have a crazy family, and I feel like I'm going nuts being around them, it'd be a lot better just to be alone. I let them know that I like being alone. Present company excluded, I hope. You're wounding me.
Conrad, I apologize for his words. Etiquette was not in his curriculum. However, fortunately, we have concluded. And not a moment too soon, either. The town is just a few moments ahead. I know we can't make many detours, but we needed to hand in these papers. We'll make a quick stop, and that's it.
We should probably check our mail, too.
That's true. Kaylin may have written.
Indy looks at me and sighs loudly.
Oh!
Is it bad that I make myself laugh?
I guess you are not, Savior. You'll get to see the Waver's Tavern. It's the hottest place to be on Terra.
He's joking, of course. We just stay there sometimes. And we own one of their postal boxes.
They serve drinks, too. Conrad likes it. But really, it's an immigration office. They just need to spice it up a bit.
True. Nobody likes mail and immigration. But everyone and their mum loves drinking. If you look ahead, you can see it. No, I can only see you two and Forrest. He points ahead, and I see he's right. A small town is coming into view. A bar that doubles as an immigration office. It sounds weird, but so does everything as of late. At least we can take care of two matters at once. Handing in my papers and checking their mail. Then maybe, just maybe, I can meet their king. He would definitely have the answers I seek. Back on Earth, deep into the night of Clace's death. Oh, we left, we left our friend there. I forget his name. I feel like a dick.
I must admit, this seems rather suspicious. But these midnight deaths, I never believed them to begin with. Or rather, that they were supernatural. The media loves to romanticize things. I'm sure that many people die at midnight daily. But to affect one of my own idols, mere days before the debut of their tour, no, it has to be a coincidence. I'm sure.
You are oddly ripped, dude.
I don't know, Singe. I mean, sir.
Singe is fine. But closer than that, Rocker.
Alright. Social media exploits Clace's death. Good luck playing it off as a hoax. The body bag was even on national TV. I'm not sure how we'll spin this exactly, but fans are starting to fill in the cracks. They're talking about being a crazed fan. The work of a stalker, they say.
It can't be. I've even seen stalkers before. They're much more erratic, not calculated. This has the workings of a serial killer. If it was a murder at all, a stalker wants to possess, not destroy.
So their end goal was Clace's murder?
Absolutely not. That's self-centered. We must presume the killer will still act. A serial killer just doesn't stop. I had hoped this was an isolated incident, but the MO matches these midnight deaths, right down to the method of murder.
It seems their goal became more grandiose. If they aren't done, then who's next?
That's what chills me the most. A larger target than a pop idol.
What's wrong?
I talked to Jade earlier about these deaths. She mentioned they were all like suicides. At least, half of them looked that way. There was another half that was murder. No confusion there. Gunshots and all. I was told that Clays died of obfuscation, but there were no signs of a struggle.
Do you mean?
Absolutely not. There was no evidence left behind. If he took his own life, there would be... You can't kill yourself, then clean up. I'm very certain Clace was murdered, but it's these midnight deaths I doubt. Are we facing a serial killer? Or is the media just making things up? These could be completely isolated deaths. Time of death being the same isn't that odd.
I guess that's true. But it's not just that. It's time of death and method of death. A suicide with no evidence isn't suicide. So there are two groups then. The mysterious suicides and the murders. But I'm willing to bet they're both murders. You seem to have figured out a lot. I thought they'd keep Clace in the wraps.
I had to pull a lot of strings. But I'm glad you figured it out, Rocker. There aren't two groups. There's only one. This is assuming one major thing, of course. That we're dealing with a single culprit. And these aren't isolated in nature.
So a murder covered up as a suicide, huh?
Not very well either, it would seem. If they wanted it to look like a suicide, why would they take the weapon with them? If Clace was found with a rope around him, none of us would be doubting this at all. But this is the same throughout all cases. I believe the police are jumping the gun. There's nothing that labels these suicides, especially in light of one major fact. All of the victims were mentally fit. If we're dealing with a killer here, there's no way they're trying to trick us. They want us to know these aren't suicides. It's the police that are in the wrong. Or perhaps they are being manipulated.
Thinking about this gives me a headache. Man, I wish I was in bed right now.
I'm sorry for robbing you of sleep. I just didn't want to handle this alone.
It's not a problem. Jade and Days are outside as well. I'll stay as long as you need.
Would you mind letting Jade in? We need to discuss press matters. We'll need to make a statement tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And Days is here, you said? Please stay with her in the limo. And tell her what I plan to do with her.
Roger.
Rocker. Moments pass. Hello again, Jade.
Hello again, Singe. I feel like it's been a while.
Too long, I'm afraid. And not under the circumstances I'd prefer.
Indeed. I always feel bad for Clace. How people were blaming him for the murders. Just because the death started when we... Sorry, I shouldn't get into superstition. I just never would have guessed. Clace's death would be what absolved him. The people can't blame a victim, I mean.
Indeed. And how do you think I feel? I didn't buy into these midnight deaths. I left him vulnerable. Open, even. I'm used to the media making up trends, even in completely unrelated things. I should have been more cautious about this. I should have assigned more guards to him. Perhaps this would have been avoided.
I don't think guards would have helped, sir. Besides, you have worked on your alibi.
Alibi?
You were the last person to see him alive, and you two have had a heated argument as well.
You should drop that line of thought, Jade. Veiled accusations only hurt you in the end.
The media will want to know. It's not me. That is what you asked me here for, right? So we can decide on what to tell the press?
I suppose you're right. That, and the changes we'll need to make. The tour must go on as planned. The amount of refunds people will want. It makes me scared just thinking about it.
That's a separate beast entirely. But first, how about we address the death? I think you need to be blunt. You shouldn't be anything less than honest. Tell them you don't know what happened. We're on the same page as everyone else. Let them know we're cooperating with police. It's important they feel in sync with us. We must not appear to hide facts from them, or make things public as the police does.
You're right. There isn't much else to do. But we still need to talk about the tour.
Indeed. And this is where we have control. I know what you plan to do with Daz. Rooker told me as we crossed paths just now. We shouldn't change topic just yet, though. Remember the two groups of death? The group of murders and groups of suicide? I figured out something shocking tonight. The culprit for the group of murderers, they were found. A week ago, Singe.
What?
And here's where it gets more bizarre. They have a watertight alibi. It excuses them fully from the suicides. They were a copycat killer, and they've admitted this openly. The true culprit is still at large.
I see.
But the police are still in the wrong. The suicides are not suicides at all. At least conflicting MOs aren't an issue. We only have to focus on the suicides now.
Does this make it easier on us?
Unfortunately not. There's just too much missing here. No suicide note, no evidence, not along with the victims being mentally fit. If it was a suicide, there would have been evidence at the crime scene. Instead, we have almost nothing at all. The true culprit must be an expert. They can tamper with crime scenes. They can leave no shred of evidence behind. Just who could it be?
It's likely a cop. Someone who's been trained in these things.
It's possible. I have a theory, though. Something a little more bizarre than most.
I don't have time for quantum mechanics. There has to be a logical reason for this. The murder started as our tour arrived. The killer must have a police background. ... Jade,
Yes,
bring me Glace's security guard. I'll need to speak with him immediately.
you mean...
Yes. At this point, it's very logical. Our own hired guard could be the killer.
Meanwhile, in the privacy of the limo, who is this Dace or Dake or whoever you were talking about? Daz.
Hey, Daz!
She looks like something off of Dragon Ball, or yeah, Dragon Ball. But still, goddamn, she's shocked to be back in coherence.
Sorry, I was a world away there.
That's fine. I mean, given what happened and all.
Part of me is worried, and part of me hates that I am. I'm not worried for Clace, though, and not even for those around him. I care more about our own careers. Who will you play guitar for? Who will I sing and dance alongside? Forgive my foolishness. I should never have said that.
Baby, baby! You don't need to worry.
There's no need to apologize. I thought the same things. A death is absolute. It can't be changed. What happens to us, however? Well, it's malleable. Worrying is normal. Perhaps it's also partial denial. One of the steps we go through in grief.
Yeah, we can't justify it that way. But at the end of the day, I'm scared. I've never seen Sin show any emotion. I don't just come and go in this business. He just adapts without any hesitation. I don't want to be like that. Emotion is what makes us truly alive. I bet they're talking about the tour. They'll probably just address the press, and then forget that Clace even existed. I want to feel sad, but I can't. Is there something wrong with me? Am I becoming like Cinch and Jade?
They're in a fast-paced business, Taz. They'll need to roll with punches like this. You and I have time to adapt, but they'll be in the spotlight pronto. Also, they were talking about the tour. I know what's going to happen to us. That's why I'm not worried anymore. Maybe if I tell you, you'll understand. Then maybe you could put this worry aside too.
Really?
Yeah. Sage is engaging in damage control. He needs to minimize any refund requests. So, the tour's opening night will change. Instead, it will be a vigil for Clace. It's something all of his fans would attend. He's definitely playing to their grief. But it's a very good way to retain the audience. ...
That's extremely cold. I like it.
It's extremely Singe, isn't it? The show must go on, he said.
I suppose. So, vigil then. What's going to happen there?
Have you heard the story of Japan's birth?
Excuse me? Is that even relevant right now?
If you'll listen, I'd like to think so.
Very well.
Before the universe, there was nothing. A huddled mass of chaos, in total stillness. It lay there forever, not moving an inch. Through one day, it flinched. It started to move, like a cloud. And soon after that, like a hurricane. It moved and moved. Some chaos rose to the top. The light in this created heaven. Or Tamaka. Yeah. But some of the chaos was dark in nature. It wasn't worthy of ascending to heaven. It stayed at the bottom, becoming earth. A kami was born between the light and dark. A god known as Amino Minakinashu, or All-Father of the originating hub.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you there. I don't buy into this religion stuff.
Who said anything about religion? I'm merely spouting myth.
Are those not one of the same? ...
Please allow me to continue. A large rainbow connected heaven to earth. It acted as a bridge between worlds. Amino Ikihashi it was called, or floating bridge above heaven. Two more gods came into being at this point. Their names were Izanagi and Izanami. Earth was still a puddling mass of nothing. Izanagi and Izanami stood on the bridge. They looked down at this nothing and all. Izanagi was gifted a spear from Mini Kashnushi. He thrusted the spear into the dark puddle. Upon pulling it out, it started dripping. These drops stayed on the surface. They formed the island of Japan. The first landmass on Earth was born. They were tasked with descending the bridge. They went down and finished creating Earth. Izanagi engaged in a purification ritual. He washed away all of his impure aspects, and he used them to aid in the creation. Our sun and moon, created by the impurities in his eye, and storms were born from those in his nose. All of his impurities were used. After that, we were born, with a world to call our own.
That's awfully convenient. We're created from impure aspects of God. Sounds like a tragedy if you ask. How does this relate to the tour? Or us?
I'm about to get to that. Sage is altering the entire tour. It will be a retelling of the story. The set list will symbolize this creation, and souls will be offered to heaven. Through that rainbow bridge, of course. Not just Clace, but all the victims.
Elaborate. I didn't think Singe would do that much. Now I feel bad for assuming what I did.
It's okay. You didn't know.
So, will we perform covers then? Of Clace's hits and other relevant songs?
You got it. But then you come in. The tour will end with a special surprise.
A special surprise?
Yes, an announcement from you. You'll be taking over the world tour. You'll be headlining, Daz. You'll perform to a sold-out crowd. It'll be your turn for the spotlight. You'll finally be something more.
I can just see the sparkles in her eyes now. Something more, huh?
Yes, we'll be saying goodbye to Clace and welcoming a new idol to the world.
And then the next thing you know, she's dead. What? I suppose I should be honored.
I will serve as your guitarist. You'll have my complete loyalty, Daz.
Thanks.
But I'm not sure about Shock. Him and Clace are childhood friends. He may take this harder than any of us.
Right. Well, if you'll excuse me. This is overwhelming. I need fresh air.
Of course. I guess I should join her. It's getting stuffy in here.
Shuffling sound from the front seat. Oh yeah. I forgot he existed.
Bro is dead?
Valsquez's throne room. An undisclosed time.
Please tell me you've allocated the funds.
Of course, my lord. Indy and Conrad will be paid promptly. There will be no reason for delay.
Very well, Dusk. Do you have any news on their journey?
I did receive word, actually. They stop at the Wave First Tavern. With the Savior in tow, I might add.
This is excellent news.
They should be here within a day. Unless there are unforeseen delays.
Thank you for informing me. You've done a wonderful job, Dusk. I am informed, and my treasury is full.
I do as any loyal citizen would. Your flattery honors me.
Please await their arrival at the gates. I have some matters to attend to in private.
Of course.
I suppose it was about time. I need to prepare myself for what's to come. Rio, can you come out now?
You sneaky son of a bitch! God damn it!
Hello, Vasquez. Sorry, that name doesn't convince me.
So you knew all along what was happening. You didn't say shit!
I did not call you here to insult me.
You fucking betrayer!
Right. I apologize, Master.
You son of a... Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. I'm gonna use these powers to kick your ass, destroy this world, kick Vasquez's ass, and then when you're dead, I'm gonna kick your ass some more.
I wanted to thank you.
Thank me.
Yes. Things are going as we planned. I don't believe we are under suspicion.
It is going well indeed. But of course it is. You have me.
Yes, of course. Join me, Rio. We shall have a seat in our thrones. For today, everything comes to fruition.
I'm so gonna kick your ass. You piece of shit. It took a bit longer than I thought, but eventually, we reached the town. So this is what society is like on Terra. It's not what I expected at all. I'm taken aback. We're instantly bombarded by beggars. They want our food and money for their own purposes. It seems like some sort of third world country. However, Indy and Conrad seem unfazed. Is this a normal occurrence for them? We skillfully weaved from side to side. The streets were busy and bustling with activity. Citizens tried to sell us their wares with vigor. Most of them were odd, but all of them suspicious. I used the two assassins as a shield while we walked. I stood behind both of them and between them. This was not a place I wanted to get lost in, and so I did my best to blend in with the locals. I still wasn't certain if I trusted these two, but at this point in time, they were my only hope. I had to err on the side of logic instead of my gut. We turned a few more corners. So much turning. I'm surprised we hadn't ended back where we started. They mentioned we were going to a tavern. A Wayfarer's Tavern. For at least two reasons. To submit my immigration papers, and check their mail. Part of me wishes I could have come here on my own. Instead, I'm being dragged by these two. Maybe I could have enjoyed the sights if I did, instead of being taken on a major mission right away. It seems that I'm working on everyone else's schedule. I still haven't been able to fully relax. Not on Earth, and definitely not on Terra. Of course, before I can continue thinking, they stop. I come crashing into both of their backs embracingly. Better watch your step, dude.
Please don't do that in the future. We trained to attack at sudden contact.
Okay.
Either way, I didn't mean to cause a scene. I only meant to turn and address you. I thought I should explain things more. We're not just here for your papers.
I was wondering about that, actually. Checking their mail seemed like it could wait.
We mentioned Lord Pleer earlier, right? We need to ensure he loses the election. To that end, we hired a local mercenary. They caused an uproar at his latest rally.
Oh, that one girl. I was about to say cute girl. No, it's not. I mean, like, and
we were able to turn his servant. It seems like more and more seek his demise.
I'm not sure I agree with these methods. They seem pretty dirty. But then again, these are assassins.
The mercenary Kaylin was promptly arrested. We believe the servant Kabu was as well. However, Kaylin's goal is to plant evidence. Evidence we will uncover during a visit. We are still on friendly terms with Pleer. He doesn't suspect us of this treason. But why did Kaylin have to be imprisoned? I'm not sure. Vasquez demanded it. A stealth mission would be more efficient. Imprisonment can lead to several troubles.
I barely realized it, but we started walking again. I must have been too engulfed in the talking to notice. Having players' trust is a major aspect. We're free to make a startling discovery, just as soon as Kaylin plants the evidence.
Indeed. The failed ritual is also key. It brought several Earthlings to Terra. We handed them to Pleer for immigration. We definitely in his good books. We'll be able to continue unhindered. We couldn't hand you to Pleer, however. We needed you to blend in with everybody. This is why we're taking you to the tavern. So along with handing in your papers, we're hoping to get mail from Caitlin. Then we can further plan to play a scenario.
Indy and Conrad stop in their tracks again, but this time, it's because we arrived at the tavern.
Taylor, once we get inside, keep a low profile. Try not to arouse any unwanted attention. We can't handle any conflict inside. Take it from me, this place is busy. There are people here from other worlds. Try not to stare if you can do one thing. Then don't take too kindly to prying eyes.
Roger that. After a few moments, we enter. Other people from other worlds can travel to other planets. That's a little concerning. But I'm going to end this episode here. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. And I'll catch you on the next one. Hasta la vista, baby.